has recently published a stable outlook on the Spanish non-life insurance market. I'm Yvette Essen for AM Best TV, here to establish what the rationale is for that outlook. Joining me is Jessica Botelho, financial analyst for AM Best. Jessica, can you explain some of the reasons why we've published a stable outlook on the market?
Sure. Our report focuses on three main drivers. The first one being the overall improvement in the Spanish economy. Since 2015, we've seen growth in GDP by at least 3%. And what we've seen is that on the premium side, this has also been growing between 3 or 4% the last several years. And we expect this trend to continue. We do think that the market will moderate. However, the conditions are still favorable for premium growth. So we see that as a positive for the sector. The second thing would be the increase in material regulatory changes that we've seen in the last several years. This can bring some negative pressure to the market. However, we've actually seen that insurers were prepared, were taking preemptive measures and responding accordingly. The two sort of big ones that we dive into in our report relate to the auto insurance industry, where we saw the introduction of baremo, and decesos, which is a funeral expense insurance. So the report will dive into what has happened and how the market players responded to those changes. The third one is the Catalonia independence and the instability, political instability that introduced to the market. We found that on one side, again, insurers were aware of this risk, monitoring it, and taking preemptive measures to make sure that they could manage it and ensure that business was not interrupted. So we saw a lot of companies in the insurance sector as well as non-insurance sector move their headquarters outside of the region to other areas in Spain. But on the flip side of that, there has been some social unrest that could dampen this economic growth that we've seen. So it's still a negative pressure.
The report does say that overall the market has robust credit fundamentals. How have companies managed to achieve this?
Yeah, so the companies have been able to achieve this really from their balance sheet strength. We also found that market players tend to have conservative investment portfolios, heavily concentrated in fixed income securities, usually that are Spanish sovereigns or corporate debt. So this is, again, a good thing from a capitalization perspective. And all this is really supported by stable and very profitable underwriting results. Now, part of them being able to do this also factors in the Consorcio de Compensación. This is a government scheme that actually covers man-made and natural catastrophes that may occur within Spain. And what that means is that these sort of risks that could introduce a lot of volatility potentially into your underwriting results are really managed and mitigated because the consortio will absorb these. So that means that the market has a combined operating ratio between 90 to 95% historically over a long period of time. So this means that from a capitalization perspective, you're getting really strong internal capital generation, which helps maintain that strong capitalization.
Can we turn to some of the pressures facing the market, particularly with regards to the political environment? Does the uncertainty with regards to the independence of Catalonia weigh on the market?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, AM Best believes that the actual probability that Catalonia will become its own independent state is relatively low, but that doesn't mean that hasn't created some pressures regardless. So we've seen an uptick in social unrest, and what that can really do is dampen all this positive economic growth that we've seen since 2015, and also introduce some volatility into the financial markets.
Finally, can you describe some of the other issues that Spanish non-life companies are encountering?
I mean, consistent with other European players, they're trying to operate in a low interest rate environment. So that means that their investment income has been really squeezed recently. And some market players may be tempted to look to achieve higher yields by investing in riskier investments. However, we don't think that many market participants will really be tempted by this, just from their past of being quite conservative in their investment philosophies. There are obviously some other, again, EU directives that will inevitably impact the Spanish market. But again, everyone's aware of these and working through to ensure that, that they're compliant when they come into force.
A copy of AM Best's outlook on the Spanish non-life insurance market can be found on AM Best's website, ambest.com. For AM Best TV, I'm Yvette Essen.